Hey guys, Matthew, and welcome to episode number 12 of the Casual Exile series. Today we're basically going to be looking at a throwback to episode number 2, which was on leveling faster. So the reason for that is that I finally finished all of the acts, basically. So as always, there will be a link in the description to the Google documents for the entirety of the Casual Exile series. Now, why am I making a video on this, and why is this worth a video? Well, we are about a month away from the following league, right? 3.14 will be hitting us in about a month, and in about 2 weeks or so, your feed, your inboxes on YouTube and whatnot are going to be filled with tons and tons of your favorite content creators coming out with different things, like for example, their build guides for 3.14 league starters, or even their strategies for making currency on your league start and all that. So I think it's a good time right now to start thinking about either putting in a little bit of practice. I'm not saying like tons of practice runs. I'm not saying become Tai Killer. I'm not saying, play 12 hours a day just to learn how to get to maps faster. But I do think that there is a big, huge advantage to somebody putting even just a little bit of practice. Now, the reason for that is very simple. On the first day of a league, if you hit maps in, let's say, 8 hours, you have a massive advantage towards somebody who hits maps in 12 hours, and an even bigger advantage to somebody who hits maps in 16 hours. But if you hit maps in 6 hours, which I think is very, very doable with very minimal practice, you have a pretty massive advantage over even the people who are hitting maps within 8 hours. Now, why is that, right? Why is it that the extra 2 hours is that big of a deal? Well, the reality of it is simple. There's a lot of items in this game. There's a lot of especially unique items and whatnot that have no value whatsoever, that are considered one alchemy items, right? But the reality is these one alchemy items at the very beginning of the league, within the first few hours, can net you a lot of currency that can help you snowball into basically upgrading your character faster to be able to reach, some higher tier content quicker. But also another reason for that is just to be able to afford spending more on your maps and investing more in your maps, investing more in completing your atlas quicker, investing more in basically getting further in the game faster than other people. So that's where the biggest advantage is going to be. And for example, if you look at my YouTube channel, there was a video around the start of the league, which I interviewed a friend of mine, Quiddy, who basically acquired his headhunter in the second day of the league, kind of pseudo solo, not quite solo. He had the help of a friend, but for the vast majority of the actual currency related part of the headhunter, he made it by himself. And the only reason he was able to do that is because he got to the end game very quickly. Now, I know that not everybody is Quiddy and not everybody is, going to be playing that much, but there is still a massive advantage towards a 6 hours to map versus an 8 hours to map. So essentially what we're looking at here is an outline of how to run every single map. Now, what I've added here is some pictures. For example, in certain layouts that I consider to be a little bit more troublesome to the vast majority of people, some little tips and tricks that I think go overlooked way too much, that in reality, when you know these, they can save you minutes at a time in running a layout. And that's pretty much what it is to get to maps quicker, is knowing these little tips. Now, I think a lot of people put way too much importance in things like layouts. Now, it does save you time, but what's going to save you a lot more time than knowing that if you see this little T sign, you got to go forward, and if you don't see this little T sign, you see a plus sign, you go to the right side. What's going to save you a lot more time than these kind of tricks is just knowing that you always want to keep moving and whatnot, and that's going to be under the tips and tools. Now, we already went over this entire page in the second episode of this entire series, so you can feel free to look that up, but of course you can also just check out the document. But the reality is, and the reason why I'm making this video, is for people to get prepared. Now, there's not, like I said, it does require a ton of practice to really get prepared for a league start in terms of your leveling. Even just browsing through and looking at my documents here and looking at the different notes and whatnot, just once every couple days. You know, it's a matter of 10-15 minutes of your time. You read through it, you check the little tips and tricks, the little pictures and all that, and your brain will take care of the rest. When you actually go through on League Start and you're going through these layouts, a lot of this information will just pop out of nowhere, and you'll be like, oh, I remember seeing this. Oh, I remember seeing this, right? And like I said, it can be the difference between saving you, you know, a few minutes in every single of these harder layouts where people tend to get lost. And I've also added additional tips, like, for example, when to do your labs, when you're getting these skill point quests. So a lot of people ask me all the time, am I supposed to do this quest? Am I supposed to do this quest? What about this side quest? What about this side quest? So I've also added basically all of these side quests and what they give you in terms of rewards, as well as, for example, if they're in a secluded part of the layout, how to most efficiently get there. So, for example, if we look in Act 8 in the Quay, or the K, I don't know, your layout kind of looks like this, and you have a little fork that's like a little bridge, and this is basically what you're looking for, and it's always around the start of the layout. So there's going to be some additional tips and tricks like that. Now, I'm not going to go through every single page and every single act, because obviously this video would be way too long, and I was just making this as a quick reminder that I think 1 month before the next layout, before the next league, if you are currently not really playing PoE, or you're just looking for something to do, well, this is a great way to practice. Now, there's also Zizran's Gauntlet League, which is starting basically this weekend, but that's a lot more for advanced players. I feel like for your average Joe, even for myself, that's an incredibly tough experience, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's a great place to practice some of these things, like, for example, leveling quicker. Now, you can't level as fast in a gauntlet because, well, you're gonna die, but you got to take it slower. But it's still a great way to actually practice, you know, learning the layouts, and also not just the layouts, but the order of operations in which you are doing different quests and different actions in every single act. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for this video. Just a quick reminder, great time to start leveling practice if you are somebody who will be trying anyways to get to maps as fast as possible in the next league, and I do think there's a pretty big advantage to doing that. So I want to say a huge thank you to Jordan, Lost with the Map, Krem is so nice, Flame Scorpion, Nathaniel, Richard, JW Player, Scott, Young B, Tuck Tuck, Michael, Ashley, Pabloms, Cool, Keebs, Marcus, Justin, Matt, Kevin, Powell, Mercury, Ethan, Citri, Jared, Axel, and Acid. So there's a huge special thank you to Phenom and Trevor. There's a lot of people missing on this list. The Patreon has been growing incredibly fast. So I do want to say a huge thank you for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.